Good day all. Stephen Lazar Property Network. How are you doing? Hey, we're getting a lot of inquiry around NDIS Property, otherwise known as SDA Property. And I thought I'd share some very important updates with you. There is a lot of marketing that's going on that's appealing to your greed or your fear of missing out, which is raising concern with the NDIS as well as the Australian federal government. And I thought I'd give you an update on where it's all at so that you can be mindful when trying to sift through all the marketing noise that's coming your way. As you know, the specialist disability accommodation market is pretty new with specialist investors like yourself. And it is also evolving very rapidly. The NDIS has become aware that unrealistic or potentially false representations are being made by some marketing organizations involved in the sector. In fact, the federal government is also aware of this misrepresentations and has raised its own concerns. Minister Stuart Roberts recently gave the following statement in relation to such behavior. He said, "The government reserves the right to use the full gambit of its powers, including our full task force, ASIC's product intervention powers, design and distribution obligation requirements, and further registration of all the powers if needed." In terms of using the use of statements of tax records, the NDIA and the NDIS Quality and Safeguard Commission will be working together alongside other regulatory agencies such as the Australian Securities and Investments Commission, called ASIC, and the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, called ACCC, to stamp out bad behaviour that may bring the SDA market into disrepute. There are obviously things going on out there which the minister is not happy with. To release such a bold statement, you would agree. SDA is complex and requires specialist knowledge to develop and operate. Those interested in investing in SDA are advised to consider and seek specialist advice in relation to the following items. You need to be aware of any claims that look too good to be true. For instance, be wary of suggested returns that appear excessively high and appeal to your greed. Gauge what the government calculator is telling you could get. Downplay it to have a conservative number. And if you're happy with that conservative number, it's a great investment. And anything above that would be bonus for you. Next, ensure that the dwelling has suitable planning approval from local government for the intended purpose. And when you work with developers who have been approved by the NDIS and understand how to build an SDA property, not only will they get planning approval in place before they build, but they will also seek out to ensure that the construction is going to be compliant. Next, ensure that the dwelling is certified with the requirements of the National Construction Code, the NCC. And as we just said, the design should receive the nod of approval for compliance when the builder builds under compliance. And then at the end, you should be able to get your certificate. We also advise that you insert a clause into the contract that states you will not take handover of the property until compliance has been granted. We also suggest that you ensure that the dwelling is audited and complies with the NDIS, SDA design guidelines, and other requirements outlined in the SDA price guide. It is a complex document, and when you're working with somebody who understands it, they'll be able to take you through it quite comfortably. It is advisable to ensure that the SDA provider who will be providing ongoing management services is registered and certified by the NDIS Quality and Safeguard Commission. This further protects your investment. Ensure that the dwelling is in a location that's suitable, is the right dwelling type and design category and configuration for which you're confident that there is potential demand. And when working with a team, they should know what the area is about and what kind of demand needs to be met in those areas. Next, it makes sense to be aware that each individual NDIS participant must be specifically approved for funding to be approved with the SDA, and that the application process is comprehensive and can take time. And when you're aware of this, and it does take time, then you've expected it to happen, and it makes it easier for you. 66% of participants, we believe, will be eligible for SDA, even though there's a need for 19,000 new SDA accommodations. Be aware that the NDIA provide no guarantee that an SDA vacancy will be filled. And until an SDA-approved participant moves into the dwelling, no SDA payment will be made or received by you. It is thus important or vital to have a backup plan in place upfront when the property completes, so you do get some income until participants have been approved. What I'm sharing with you is vital to ensure that your SDA investment property is a sound investment. And there is a lot to take into consideration prior to make a decision, so that you are sufficiently informed to make an informed decision once you have all the information at hand into your SDA property. It is vital to surround yourselves with a team of like-minded people who are looking after your needs primarily, looking after your needs upfront and not their own. And when you're working with professionals like that, you'll get to know, like, and trust them. In turn, they will save you a lot of time. They'll minimize your stress, and they'll also help you make you a lot more money, which is their purpose and your purpose. NDIS remains an exceptional investment opportunity from the point of view of helping those who are far less fortunate than you and I, whilst at the same time for putting your hand up and purposely building an SDA property. The government are going to reward you handsomely in terms of yield that you're going to get on your investment, and for the purpose of you making more money, which you can then use and invest elsewhere to either pay off this property or reinvest elsewhere. So I thank you for your time once again, and I look forward to your questions. We love questions. We want you to make an informed decision. And I ask you to reach out to us if what we shared with you has made sound sense. My name again is Stephen Lazar from Property Network, and NDIS is a new form of investment that we've taken on board for the last 10 going on 11 months. And we will only provide you a customized, full end-to-end service, understanding where you are at, where you want to get to, your budget, your requirements, and how to help you get there by finding the right customized solution, finding the block, customizing the dwelling, have it built, make sure it's compliant, get you the compliance certificate at the end, introduce you to an SDA approved rental manager who will acquire participants for your investment, and then managing your asset and your investment on your behalf. Look forward to your questions and your feedback. Once again, Stephen Lazar from Property Network. Have a beautiful day. Look forward to speaking with you soon.